To be clear, Honourable Chair, I didn't talk of prejudice to the state's case. We also protect the rights of accused persons, and I do not want accused to raise later on that certain details were discussed and the complainant thereof sat in a house where they didn't have representation and or were not present. I merely raised that ethical issue.
Well, you can go outside now, Ms. Johnson, and look at it on TV. You're going to make any difference.
You can take Honorable Kona Panat with you.
Honorable Malema.
Just to put it on record that Adams is not a member of this committee. He's a member of parliament. And like any other member of parliament, his rights are not withdrawn. He can attend any committee as a member of parliament. So this is a completely different space. Hence, before she took an oath, you have had to remind her that certain things that are done here may not even be used anywhere else outside this place. So it's for Adam's personal conscience that he left, which for me is good, but it should be put clear that he's not a member of our committee, he's a member of parliament, and it doesn't influence anything when it comes to how decisions are going to be made here. Thanks.
Now, there was a Nugent Commission, Party Commission, Zondo Commission, and all of that, which spoke to certain issues of corruption and all. When you look at these matters, you spoke about the Nugent Commission, that this is the high-profile case we're dealing with, and this and that one. Percentage-wise, when you put all of these commissions together, you think how many people have you arrested and to what extent have you been successful? Because one of the cases that you should be handling, I know it must be referred to you, but if you're talking Zondo Commission, state capture reports, Bosasa is one of the outstanding matters of Zondo Commission. And IDAC should be saying to us, since then, 1, 2, 3, 4, we have arrested and we have succeeded with the following cases. Do you think you have done well on those 3 commission's recommendations, if matters were referred to you?
We could have done more, but at the time, before the permanency of August 2024, Honorable Malema, we were unable to recruit permanent capability, and we were working on contract positions and duty reassigned. So it is disproportionate, and we have to change our game. In terms of the Bosasa matters, we do have Bosasa matters that are in court, and there are other matters that are under investigation. And in fact, there were 5 new matters that were authorized by the ID as well. So we have quite a few matters that are under investigation and matters that are in court. Patrick Gillingham, Lyndam T, Vincent Smith, Agritzi. We had the matter for the late Medudu Mieni. With her passing, Mr. Matendra is still on trial, and the trial commenced this week. And that matter continues. And then there are other investigations that continue. None of the Bosasa matters that were mentioned at the Commission have been closed. If that might be a concern.
It becomes worrisome that, you know, there could be, and I like what you said, that, you know, you want to act with evidence and only with evidence and overwhelming evidence so that you don't make mistakes and mess up these cases. But there are so high-profile people who are mentioned in Bosasa. One of them is the national chairperson of the ANC, who's a minister, Gwedemantashi. The other one is Nomvula Mkwenyane, who ate chickens every December. Agrizi said he was sending chicken every month that's supposed to go to prisoners. Is going to Nomvula. And will such people not be people of interest? Because our inability to defeat corruption is that the high-profile individuals with money don't get to be prosecuted. And these things came out public. We were all there and all of that.
So, Honorable Malema, I take the point. However, those investigations continue. What did hamper us is the evidence we sought. We had to get, the only other person who could give us that evidence was Angelo Agrizzi, who was also an accused. Angelo Agrizzi has, in the past month, now deposed to Section 204 affidavits on various individual matters that we did not have previously. We must now move with those matters. And they are among the
I'll
matters
tell you
that
where I
you
come
referred
from,
to.
Advocate. Kumalo gets arrested for labor-related matter. And then there are these people who have been eating chickens and eating food of prisoners and blessed with Austin Martins and all of that. A person is accused of irregular appointment, and that becomes a big issue when we've got this other. So when this is presented before us, it looks like there are others who are treated differently and others are treated differently. But I'm happy that you are saying we are coming close to making more arrests with the 204 we got from Agrizzi. So my question will be, I'm moving from that one. When does it become an irregular appointment? And when does it become crime? Because there are so many people who got appointed, and there were reports that said, look, man, the due processes were not being followed, and we don't think this appointment was correct. And there are many institutions that deals with that if you are not satisfied with a certain process of appointment. And now we get a situation where one of the crime-fighting leaders in institutions like crime intelligence gets to be arrested with the other colleagues for appointment. I'm not saying it's big or small. There's no big corruption, there's no small corruption. Once it's characterized as corruption, it's big and deserving of the necessary attention. But on this labor process, irregular and crime, when does one become the other? Because if we're to follow what you did, we're going to lock up a lot of people who interfere with appointment of people. I'll tell you, for instance, now, in Johannesburg municipality, a CM was supposed to be appointed. He passes an interview. No, he first gets it shortlisted. He passes an interview. He passes the test that they go through after the interview, competency, whatever test. And political leaders who are outside government go and sit down and say, no, don't appoint this person. So we are subjected to those kind of things that politicians and other people can just do as they wish, but they never get arrested. Here is an arrest on a person that made a wrong appointment and didn't follow procedure or anything of that sort. When does it become irregular? When does it become a crime?
So, Honourable Member, we looked at the institution, the position of the accused, and the influence they had in order to circumvent and manipulate the processes. It was different because this is an environment that is charged with upholding, which is part of law enforcement. And there was an active gratification to a person who should never have gotten the job, and they manipulated the processes as we've set out on pages 7 to 9 of the charge sheet. I agree with you that what is happening where it happens in the municipalities should not happen. I did also indicate that part of IDAC's mandate is looking at issues of dishonesty and issues of the municipal MFA or MFA. If those matters are referred, and these are positions that compromise a government and how a government runs, then we are fully within our mandate to look at it. None of those matters have come to the fore, but there's no distinction. One shouldn't be allowed in those processes as they are, because an appointment of the incorrect person, even in the municipality, robs South Africans of service delivery. That in itself is a huge impact that we can't afford. So those matters should be escalated. And if those matters are being dealt with by the Auditor General, I think that is where there's a gap. We have had this conversation, Honorable Malema, I know you don't want long answers, but we had this conversation with the Auditor General to say, we have to find a way where you make certain findings, especially those irregularities and wasted and unauthorized expenditure, non-service delivery because of the misuse of funds in municipalities. We must find a way for those matters to be referred. So we have had that engagement, but we haven't had any of those matters referred because the Auditor General can.
Thank you very much. Advocate, and we asked former Minister Cele this question, and he was happy to answer it. And the same thing with the Minister Kunus on special leave. When you went through Matlala's phones, did you find that Bheki Cele called Matlala when Matlala was in prison, or did you call him after prison? Because he says when Matlala was in prison, he didn't call him. And then when Matlala was outside prison, now that he knew the kind of character he was, he has never had any form of communication with him.
I myself have not looked at those communications, and those are still part of the investigation. But those were part of the allegations we became aware of, that there were communications by politicians and senior members of the South African Police Services. The ex-minister's name was mentioned, as was the name of Lieutenant General Sabia, as well as other police officials on the platforms that they have. And because they have come out in the commissions, we are looking at them, yes.
But what if he's part of those things? Okay, just for record's sake, are you confirming that Matlala's phones records were tampered with when they were handed over to IDAC?
There were communications that were deleted, yes. But what will happen, Honorable Malema, it goes to the question that Honorable Klopper asked. When did those gaps, those deletions take place? And if they happened at material times when allegations are being made that Mr. X would have started communicating, one is able to draw those inferences and take the investigation in a different way.
Mr. Matlala's issue, when it was referred to you, who referred it?
It was referred to us by a general in the risk audit section of the South African Police.
Or not commissioner?
Not
the National Commissioner?
Not the National Commissioner.
Now, what I want to understand is, when a matter is reported to you, it's referred to you, where do you come in as a head? Does it come to you, and then you choose investigators, or how does it work?
So when the matters are referred, they get sent to the head of investigations, Ndata Matthew Sissoko, and he, together with the two chiefs, Chief Lusanda Boy and Chief Dylan Perumal, would assess the matter. They put an application together. If they are of a view it falls within the mandate, I get to then consider an application. If they're not sure, what they will do is indicate that there is a Section 27 referral. However, there's a bit of uncertainty on an aspect or two, and for those reasons, they're not sure if it falls within the mandate. We might have a discussion, but it has been very, I can't even remember off the top of my head how many of those would have happened.
So when General Mkhwanazi says there is a person in your office who's feeding him with information, will that person not be acting in a rogue manner? Because in terms of line of reporting and duty, there's no any other channel that says there could be a person in your office who reports to provincial commissioner.
You are correct.
Say,
You are correct.
now, when a person reports, like he said, someone from your office reports to him, and he knows, that's how he knows these things. Will that person not acting in a rogue manner?
Correct, they are.
Meaning there is a rogue in your office?
If that is how you frame it, yes.
Because General Mkwana said there were rogues in your office, and here is a rogue that takes you information in your office and gives to General Mkwanazi. With that being said by General Mkwanazi about that kind of a rogue element in your office,
I can't
what steps have you taken to, including amongst other things, solicit more detailed information and evidence as colleagues from General Mkwanazi? Because it doesn't matter what happened, it doesn't matter what he said to you. You guys still owe this country a duty to protect it and serve it. So when you hear such things, why are you not reaching out to say, can you please give me these elements that you are saying exist in my office? Because here I'm fighting corruption and I'm not going to have people who are behaving in a corrupt manner in this office.
I agree with you, Honorable Malema. However, there were these processes that were taking place. And so I was waiting for that. I've got to deal with the ad hoc committee, deal with the Madlanga Commission. And like I said to you, there's no reason not to talk to Lieutenant General Mkwanazi. I didn't want it to seem as though we were trying to cover ourselves. There's nothing to cover in IDAC. And I'm sure if he has that information, and I do contact him now that I'm done with the ad hoc committee, that he would share that information. And if he does, we will then be able to act.
Advocate, the issue of your husband should never put you in a difficult situation where you start doubting your capabilities and your capacity. Sitting here, for me, this is quality leadership coming from a black woman. You answer questions properly, you give us information, well articulate. There will be more challenges. They come inherently with being a female leader. We all have, issues that we might not have handled properly. It's part of growth. It's part of becoming more experienced and then dealing with matters differently going forward. And when you live here, this should never, I heard you saying I'm very angry, it must never be one of the issues that are going to distract you from fighting crime and fighting corruption. You came here, we shared that information with you. On a hindsight means I'm more clever now, and you should take it in that spirit and continue to fight. I thought Winnie Mandela died, but Winnie Mandela is multiplied. Thank you very much.
I received. Thank you.
Get naked in seconds. Cover